Good afternoon, everyone. So this is Dia Madna from SYBA, and it is a moment of great pleasure to welcome you all for this seminar. And this seminar is all about talking. This seminar is a talk on identifying red flags in a relationship, organized by the Department of Psychology in association with Odyssey, the Psychology Club of Raheja College of Arts and Commerce. So, relationships. We are born with relationships, we live with relationships, and we have to deal with relationships. But sometimes it can be difficult to manage them, it can be difficult to live with them, but we still have to. So, I guess there's no one better here than Neha ma'am to talk about relationships and identifying the toxic behaviors, the red flags in a relationship. So, I would like to introduce Mrs. Neha Dalal, the HOD of Psychology Department of Raheja College. She is the senior most of the department, and I guess there's no introduction that can define her. We have been through her lectures. We know that she's the best when it comes to teaching psychology. Her social psychology lectures, I know I am a SY student, and our social psychology lectures seriously feel like a great warm hugs, and it is never like lecture. We sit, we listen to her, we smile, we laugh. Sometimes we also cry because she is her. She gives the best examples. We all do, yeah, we all do. And when it comes to TY students, I know she can be strict sometimes, but she loves you. She is a great mentor, and she loves every one of us. And I know there's no one better who can talk about relationship, because when we sit for social psychology lectures, she just talks and we're like, okay ma'am, ये थोड़ा deep हो रहा है. So now I would like to welcome Mrs. Neha Dalal, and can I just...
Thank you so much for that nice introduction. दो बार उसने बोला nobody better than her to talk. So मैं सोच रही हूँ यार, I hope you take it the right way. Nobody better to talk, because it's been a little surprising for me, because like you know, most of you who are my students know that I also take counseling sessions, like I'm also a practicing counselor. So it's been surprising for me because since last, I think 3-4 years, the amount of cases that I have got with people in toxic relationships has gone up. And then, you know, like, then I start thinking, कि prevalence rate thoda zyada ho raha hai. You know, if all of you all who know what prevalence rate is. So I'm like, yeah, prevalence rate is going a little high. And then I interact with my students in class, and the kind of questions that I get, and you don't need to be a detective to know that something is going on. Yeah, mic ka kuch problem hai. There is another mic. Hello. So you don't need to be like Sherlock Holmes, or you don't need to do too much of deductive reasoning to realize that something is going on here. And then we have cases in the news that shake us to the core. And just like we just get over one case, and then we come to hear about another case. And one of the most dangerous thing to say is, I know it will not happen to me because I'm smart. But surprisingly, I will give you the resources at the end of the class. I will tell you. Surprisingly, some of the people who have gone through these kind of toxic relationships A lot of them are in a high post. Okay, they are very well educated. You know, like they are probably like, you know, one of my clients who was in a toxic relationship, I will never forget, was a data analyst working for some government company. Data analyst सुन के ही मेरे को लगता है wow, like you know, she's doing for government, she's getting data and analyzing and going for projects, and highly intelligent woman. And yet here she is dealing with issues in her life because of toxic relationships. So one of the things I was telling some of the students behind when I was sitting with them, that I hope you realize that this is not an academic talk. Okay, my purpose of giving this talk to you is it benefits you in real time, in your real life. So after the session, once it's over, I know you will have a lot of questions while I am talking. Okay, I would really suggest that you write down your questions, because we will keep time for question and answer sessions in the end. But it's very likely that while I'm going through the talk, you might have questions. Also, it is likely that you might understand that maybe the relationship that you are in is not so healthy for you. Okay? And that can be a little triggering. So fair warning that it could be a little triggering, but this trigger will actually help you. We are doing a talk on red flags or identifying red flags in relationships. Honestly, this is a 3-part talk. Okay? So actually I should have a talk first on the kind of people who target others and get into toxic relationship for themselves. So who are the kind of people that you have to be aware of? What are their characteristics? What are their traits? The second part of the talk would be identifying the red flags. And the third part of the talk should be, actually it's like, just as we have characteristics, traits of people who are toxic and get into relationship, there is also a profile of an ideal victim. Okay, so a part of my talk should have been that profile of a person who is, I'm going to use the word predator, but don't take it as predator in the sense that we take it in biology, but who's a predator. There are characteristics of traits of ideal victims. So if you have these traits, there is a very high chance that you can fall into a toxic relationship. That is first part. Second part would be identifying red flags. And third part would be how to deal with it. Once you identify it, how do you get away from it? Now since we can't do the 3-part talk right now, only thing that we are going to talk about is identifying red flags. Okay, so let's directly delve into it. Can we have the next slide, please? So, how do you identify that whether you are in a toxic relationship or not? So, firstly, if your joy of love, okay, has now converted into fear of losing this person, okay, that is a red flag. Matlab, that kind of a feeling if you have. If you feel that your mood depends entirely on the state of the relationship. कभी अच्छा mood है, कभी बेकार mood हो रहा है, and you are like on a roller coaster ride. You plan your days, पता नहीं उस दिन कैसा mood होगा, उसके ऊपर आज का दिन कैसा जाएगा. Okay, so you make plans like that. You are unhappy and uncertain in the relationship most of the time. If you feel you are responsible for ruining the best thing that happened to you, but you don't know what you did. Okay. If you feel that your relationship is complex, so if you know, like somebody was telling me that Facebook पे शायद ऐसा था कि you're committed, not committed, it's complicated. So if you're choosing it's complicated, then थोड़ा एक इधर bell जाना चाहिए. Okay, can we go to the next slide? If you're continuously obsessed about relationship, if you don't feel sure about where you stand with your partner, if you're frequently asking your partner what is wrong, if you are frequently on a defensive, if you have developed a trust issue, all of these things are signs that there is something going wrong. I'm going to just go through it because I never like reading through PPT. So, you feel anger, resentment, you become like a detective. I'm going to elaborate on all of these things in a few minutes. You become like a detective, You don't know how to make your partner happy. You cannot express your negative emotions in front of your partner. Next slide. No, the slide here is not changed. Okay, so you don't feel good about yourself. You feel you're falling short of your partner's expectations. You feel guilty. You control your actions and words. Next slide. You feel like an emotional volcano that is going to erupt. You aren't comfortable because you're doing things against your values and you feel confused about everything. So let me tell you exactly what is going to happen. What happens in nutshell is, when you are in a relationship and you are confused, okay, you're confused क्योंकि मुझे actually समझ में ही नहीं आ रहा है कि am I important in this person's life or no? Okay, like do I have any value in this person's life or no? So the confusion अगर है, confusion is a big indication that you are not in a good relationship. You should not be confused. Clarity होनी चाहिए. या तो the person is interested or the person is not interested. So creating of confusion is one of the things that happens in a relationship which is toxic. Also, you find yourself doing things that you have never done before. Now when I say this, what do I mean you find yourself doing things that you have never done before? It can be anything. It can be behaviorally, okay? It can be emotionally, it can be sexually. So you find yourself doing things that you have never done before. Okay, so you suddenly find yourself becoming like non-trusting person, you become detective, you're checking phones and like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Why am I checking phones? You feel that I have become a version of myself that I cannot recognize. If you feel that you have sudden outbursts of anger or emotions and sudden crying spells and you're not able to explain that. You feel like you're walking on eggshells. यानी कि कभी कुछ मैंने बोला तो कुछ नहीं. The person is very happy and कभी कुछ थोड़ा सा गलत बोलते हैं, there is a huge outburst of anger from that side and you are like taken aback, like मैंने ऐसा क्या बोला? So next time you're thinking twice before saying anything. So you're really scared. Can I say or can I not say? You cannot be honest in front of that person. Okay, now obviously honesty without kindness is cruelty. Okay, by the way, so if a wife asks a husband, have I put on weight, he should be like a little kind when he is answering a question like that. Okay, so when I say honesty, please don't take it like that. Honesty does not give you the permission to be cruel when you talk. Okay, but honesty in the sense of expressing your feelings, expressing your needs, expressing what you want. Okay? So, these are some of the indications that you are not in a good relationship. Okay? Let's go to the next slide, please. So, I'm going to first give you an overview of what toxic relationships entail. Any toxic relationships has these 4 phases that happen cyclically. Okay, the first stage is idealizing phase or also called as love bombing phase. Now this is a phase which is very confusing for people. Okay, so first phase, I'm going to talk about each of these phases and what happens in each of these phases in detail. Okay, so we have an idealizing phase, which is followed by the phase of devaluation. Okay, so when you shift from idealizing phase to the devaluation phase, this is called as manipulative shift. Now I am going to probably use a lot of these technical terms, which is not so bad. You can write it down and then Google it. Thoda to Wikipedia thoda help karega, not that bad. Okay, so I was just telling my students today how Wikipedia is not that reliable, but that way you might stumble across genuine information also. So then we go to devalue. Devalue is the place where the manipulative shift has happened. Then there is a discard phase. Discard phase के बाद there is hoovering. And hoovering के बाद, depending on what the victim or the person who is at the opposite end is behaving, idealizing phase starts again. So it is a cycle. समझेगा? अभी कुछ समझा नहीं चलेगा. So let's take each of the phase together. Love bombing phase. Now this is the phase that Yash Chopra movie talks about. Can we go to the next slide? This is the phase that love bombing phase talks about. Yash Chopra movie talks about. First एक बार वापस enter कर थोड़ा. हाँ. So now imagine this, that the person you have gone out on the date for the first time with this guy or with this girl, and the person is a great listener. क्या बात है, सब सुन रहा है, like for the first time, and you are feeling heard because the person is listening to you. Okay, now and you're like, wow यार, कितने दिनों बाद ऐसा कोई person मिला जो मेरी बातें सुन रहा है, and you feel so good about it. Okay, if a person is listening to you or getting you to talk, okay, this can sometimes be a means of removing information out of you. They want to know as much as they want, as much as they can from you. Can we go, huh? Now that's not the only thing. You know what creates intimacy between two people? There are a lot of ways to create intimacy. I talk about that a lot of times in my counseling classes. But if you want a shortcut way to create intimacy, is tell somebody your secret. Okay? That means you tell somebody, पता है मैं जब ऐसा 12 साल का था ना तभी मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ था, and you're like, oh my god. Now why does this create a sense of intimacy? It creates a sense of intimacy because you feel that this person has shared something valuable from his life to you. He has made himself or she has made himself vulnerable to you. Now the thing is, when somebody shares this, it generally happens that there is an expectation that you share back. Okay? So what happens is now generally when you meet somebody for the second time or third time, you're not going to tell your life story to that person. ना मेरे पास आप बचपन में ऐसा हुआ था, मैं इधर से सीढ़ी से गिर गया था, सर पे लगे. You're definitely not going to say all of these things. But what happens if when the person in front of you says something that seems very heavy, you get into that zone of sharing things about your life too. Okay? Sadly, not all the things that they say to you, especially the toxic people that I'm talking about. So, जिनका traits मैंने बताया नहीं अभी तक आप लोगों को, but I will for now say personality, which is a dark triad personality. Let's for now just say that. So now these people, not everything that they share with you is genuine. But the sad part is that not everything they share with you is lie also. They mix the lie with the truth. You know, a blatant lie is very easy to catch. But when you mix the lies with the truth, the believability factor of that lies go up. So now, this is another technique which is used whereby they will prematurely disclose and then they expect you to share about your life as well. Okay? Now this creates a false sense of intimacy. You suddenly believe that you have shared something that was such a huge part of myself to this person. And you did it because that person ne pehle kiya. He kept the cards on the table first. They kept the cards on the table first. But we don't know how authentic that information is. Sometimes they might give the information, but the perspective of it is changed. Okay? So, which I will give you more examples later on as we go. Like they can say an incident has happened, like for example, my boss fired me. They fired me because there was somebody else there जिनको वो लोग फेवर कर रहे थे and they wanted them to grow, उनको promotion होना चाहिए था, इसके लिए they fired. It is possible that he did get fired, but the reason that he gave might not be the real one. Is this making sense? So premature disclosure does happen from that end, but that is only to create a sense of intimacy with you so that you share your part of information. Another important thing is overwhelming you with text messages, WhatsApp messages. If every day you get a hi, how are you, good morning, kuch nahi, sirf good morning message every day. Yeah? So if you get overwhelmed, and sometimes it's not just WhatsApp, it's WhatsApp पे good morning, फिर दूसरा तुम लोग क्या यूज करते हो? Facebook पे एक दूसरा, फिर Instagram पे एक तीसरा, मतलब 4 Snapchat, so 4 अलग प्लेटफॉर्म में 4 बार एक ही दिन में गुड मॉर्निंग भेज दिया कि कहीं से तो दिखेगा गुड मॉर्निंग. Overwhelming you with the text, how does that make you feel when you get a good morning message every day? Suffocating, but you feel special.
Annoying.
Okay, annoying. Habitual. Now see the amazing. No. So the thing is, even if it is annoying, okay, you are absolutely annoyed. रोज मैसेज भेज देता है, क्या करता है, क्या, what does he think of himself? 10 दिन उसने मैसेज भेजा, 11वें दिन उसने मैसेज नहीं भेजा, क्या होता है? It was so annoying when he was messaging every day in the morning. One day he does not message, and then there is this feeling of restlessness. Second day, restlessness increases. Third day, you message. Hi, how are you? Is all okay? This is all a part of, sorry, but it's all part of strategy that is used. And unfortunately, it's very common. So they will overwhelm you with text, WhatsApp messages on different social media platforms. Yeah. They will put you on a pedestal. यानी कि ऐसे comments देंगे that quickens the pace of commitment. Like flattery, big time. Can I have the next two also? So they put you on a pedestal, like you're like a king and you're like the queen, and I've never met you before. Like चौथे दिन में I love you. अगर कोई चौथे दिन में I love you बोलता है तो it's a big red flag. Okay. That's the next talk. That's the next talk. See, try to understand the state of mind. It's all about working with the state of mind and the state of being. Just imagine the state of being that you get put into when people, are giving you positive comments and, they are using flattery. I tell my SYBA students, flattery is very powerful. यानी कि I will tell you कि मैं तेरे को झूठी तारीफ करूँगी और मैं तारीफ करूँगी, even then it works. Remember, I have told you this.
अच्छा, I have a question. Can I?
Because ma'am is going 1:15 इसलिए.
I really.
But rest of y'all write down question.
But the thing is, why I am asking you this question is because I am not going to be able to concentrate without getting an answer for this one. That's why. Acha, you said that if a person keeps messaging and then they suddenly stop and then we wonder what happened, and then third day, second day we message back. What if a person doesn't react this way? Like for example, somebody messages me for a month and then I think this person is really too free or maybe is acting silly or something, and I don't respond, or 5 messages पे मैंने एक respond या एक word डाला. Then after a month of all this odd behavior, suddenly everything stops and a person like me thinks, finally thank God this person is getting sorted, okay, and I also remain silent. And then this sorting out behavior is there only for the next 1.5 months. Again that second cycle starts. And then again I said, इसको वापस कुछ ढीला हो गया है.
So this, yeah.
And then finally, after 2 or 3 cycles,
He stops.
there is a permanent silence, and I think there is a permanent sorting out that
Yes.
happens.
So
What do you explain about
this is, so whoever did that to you, ma'am,
Yes.
was actually using the strategy.
I could see that, but then I clearly was getting, come on, please have some clarity.
So now, if you don't take the bait, you don't take the bait.
Yes.
This is a bait. किसी ने तुमको वो चारा डाला है, तुम अगर नहीं लोगे तो नहीं लोगे, मगर did he stop? No. He tried again after a month.
Cycles.
And he tried again after a month. After 4-5 months, he stopped कि यहाँ पे नहीं होगा. But you know what? People who do this, they never have one person in their list to do it. They do it with couple of people at the same time. And this is something that I'm going to talk about a little later when I talk about the discard phase. Okay, so coming back to this, now they will put you on a pedestal. You feel loss of control in relationship. You feel intense emotions. You feel so much of love. You feel like you can do anything for this person. Relationship is on fast forward, like 4th day, like I love you. You also said, thoda pressure mein aake, but then you also said I love you. You know. And you know, like, and the relationship is fast forward and everything, and you started talking about commitment and marriage and what is happening. Why is the relationship on fast forward? They don't want you to think. Because if you say, let me take things slowly, then again he will be like, slowly, I'm so hurt. How can you say that? Here I am, अपना life तेरे लिए कर रहा हूँ. And then they make you feel guilty for saying that I want to take things slow. And then you're like, oh shit, what did I do? बेचारा इतना अच्छा था, अच्छा इतने से मेरे को प्यार करा है, और मैं ऐसा कर रही हूँ. Now, you know, sometimes this suddenly came to my head. Actually, it's not a part of the talk, but anyway, I'm going to say it. So there's a series that I'm watching called How I Met Your Father. How I Met Your Mother, I had already seen all the seasons, so they started something called How I Met Your Father. So I started watching that. In that, the main protagonist, the lady, she dates his friend. They've been friends for some time. And the first day that they have gone out on the date, this guy says, I love you. And she runs, which was normal. Then obviously she met somebody who talked sense into her, ki nahi, what wrong did he do? No, that running was a gut instinct reaction. And that gut instinct reaction was true. So when relationships are on fast forward, okay, it is basically creating a situation whereby you don't have any time to think. You cannot see what is happening clearly. It is moving on fast forward. So, if you feel like, you know, somebody has come and swept you off your feet, it's not an ideal thing. Okay? So, although Bollywood movies and ये सब बताएंगे कोई आया और मेरे को ऐसे यहाँ से ऐसे करके लेके गया and all that, no. If somebody is sweeping you off your feet, that is a red flag. Okay? Relationships build over time. Okay? You cannot force into it. And if somebody is forcing you into it, okay, then this is a red flag. You might feel that you have met your absolute soulmate. Okay, and knows everything that makes you tick. You know why? Why do they know everything that they make you tick? We are only told. सबसे पहले डेट में किसने बताया था सब चीजें? हमने. So he can listen to you. They can listen to you. Because I have a lot of clients, but I know from what I've read that there can be women dark triad too, and they can have guys in a toxic relationship. So they can listen to you and they can be exactly what you want them to be. So you want a person who is charming but a little clumsy. The person can be charming but a little clumsy. You want a person जो दिखने में ठीक ठाक होगा, यानी कि अपना ग्रूमिंग का नहीं ठीक ठाक होगा, जो मगर टॉक इंटेलिजेंट होना चाहिए. He will be grooming में इतना नहीं मगर टॉक इंटेलिजेंट होगा. You want somebody who has a great sense of humor and can tell jokes. He will say jokes. They will say jokes. Okay? So the thing is, you feel like you have found your soulmate because they are changing themselves to fit into your idea of soulmate. Also, you know, it feels use of empty words, exaggerated confessions of love. यानी मेरे को लगता है कि लव बॉम्बिंग पूरा बॉलीवुड मूवी से है, मैं तेरे लिए चांद सितारे तोड़ के लेके आ सकता हूँ. Now this is a very exaggerated statement of
What
love.
about a helpless lover who wants to say that much? They are being poetic, man. When everything is so pessimistic, I don't know.
So one of the things that, you know, one of the things that I'm sure that I'm going to be asked this question, that initial phase में तो सभी relationship अच्छे होते हैं. Like honeymoon phase is a very real thing. And literally. And then the going away or phasing away of honeymoon phase is also a real thing. Okay? So थोड़ा experience से बता रहे हैं. But the difference between the normal relationships and relationships which are like toxic is, first, कितना भी हम लोगों का honeymoon phase अच्छा हो, we know for sure कि ऐसा perfect soulmate तो नहीं है. ये आदत नहीं अच्छी लगती, ये आदत नहीं अच्छी लगती है, ये थोड़ा issue है, मगर ठीक है. Okay? Yeah, we are still aware. If somebody is a complete picture of what you wanted, and if there are no other signs, then you're lucky. But if there are other signs and the person is an absolute picture of what you wanted, then something is wrong. Also, another difference is you can have a honeymoon phase in any kind of relationship. Intensity in relationship in the beginning is normal. But toxic relationships are bizarrely intense. You feel that it's like मतलब कुछ अलग ही level का intensity है, कुछ अलग ही level का obsession है. You feel it. In fact, I was prematurely talking about the talk in my class on Friday, and I think somebody asked me that what happened, how do you know? And even when you go through the resources, like of the people who have gone through and who have survived the abuse, the narcissistic abuse, okay, they say that in the very beginning, they had a gut level feeling that something is off. In the very beginning. So people who have this bizarre, intense connection, koi to bhi level pe, in the very beginning, you know that something is off. Something is just not right. But because everything else is so overwhelming that you choose not to listen to this. Yeah, next slide please. Oh yeah, they can be very charming. I can have all three together. Huh. They can be very, very charming. They know what makes us laugh, they know what makes us cry. So they can be extremely charming. Now, the dark triad personality, they can be very, very charming. They have a very high level of social intelligence. That means they are very good at reading people. Okay? They have a very high level of social intelligence, good at reading people, identify probable supplies. Now, this is the word that is used for narcissistic abuse. Like they actually try to identify people who can be their supplies. They get energy from them. Okay, so they're very high at that in social intelligence. So they know how to be charming. They know how to disarm you, how to gain your trust. Flattery, they will use all forms of compliments and all forms of flattery. Okay, and flattery में भी अलग-अलग type होते हैं, by the way. Generally कोई आके सामने तुमको बहुत तारीफ करेगा, अरे वाह आज तो ये वो, that also impacts obviously, but there are more subtle and more powerful ways of flattering you. What are the subtle and powerful ways of flattering you is they'll pretend to disagree with you first. नहीं ऐसा तो नहीं होता है, ऐसा तो नहीं होता है, and then they come around, अरे यार तूने तो मेरी आंखें खोल दी. So now you feel so good, अरे हाँ बेचारा क्या सोच रहा था और मैंने क्या उसका पूरा ऐसा थॉट का चेंज कर दिया, थॉट परिवर्तन हो गया उसका पूरा. Okay, so one way of complimenting you is, you know, disagreeing with you, and that makes you feel okay, that makes you feel smart, that makes you feel you brought about change in somebody, and makes you feel persuasive, like wow, like I can be in control and all of that. Another way of complimenting you indirectly is complimenting in front of other people that you know. मगर मुझे पता है मैंने इसके सामने तुमको कॉम्प्लीमेंट दिया तो ये लोग जाके बोलेंगे पता है वो तेरे बारे में क्या बोल रहा था. So they are also extremely smart. Oh, sorry. They are also extremely smart in using other people also to get to a place that they want with you. Okay? Complimenting like that. Also, like I said, they are very highly socially intelligent and they can read people. So it is possible that they will notice things in you that nobody else has. And they will compliment you on that. And that makes you feel seen. You feel like there is somebody who can see you. This can be overwhelmingly positive for you. Okay? So, यहाँ मेरे मम्मी पापा ने ये देखा नहीं मेरे अंदर क्या है ये, and then here he is and he comes and you're like, oh my God, it's amazing. Okay? So, complimenting traits that nobody else has seen, that can give a sense of positive. Oh yeah, a lot of other things can also happen. Pity play. This is still love bombing phase going on. Another way to get your, like your affection is they will say यार मेरे साथ तो life में already premature थोड़ा उन लोगों ने disclose कर दिया होगा, but they will paint a picture of like यानी कि मैं तो मेरे तो लाइफ में इतना प्रॉब्लम है यार मैं तो कुछ कर नहीं सकता हूँ and this and that and how bad the whole thing is. They play victim. And now what happens when they play victim is you want to rescue them. Now remember I told you there is a profile of an ideal victim. One of the things in the profile of ideal victim is they want to be rescuers. Okay? So if you have a rescuer complex, if you want to get into psychology because you want to help people, you have rescuer complex. If you are having a rescuer complex, it makes you a soft target. Because ऐसा help करने का ऐसा उमड़ के आता है अंदर से कि I want to help. So here there is somebody lying down by victim एकदम ऐसा helpless. So ऐसा you just can't help it but go and help, right? But this is again a strategy used. It is a strategy used by them so that you can, like you feel bad for them. Now amazingly, it is possible that somewhere during the relationship you come to know about certain information that is not very positive for the concerned person. Okay, suddenly you realize ये तो married है, या suddenly you realize कि ये तो बोल रहा था उसका business है and all that, मगर उसका तो business कुछ है नहीं. Now at that point of time, when they are giving information, that also is to create pity. Like I know I'm married, मगर marriage तो नाम का है. मेरी wife का तो already 10 लोगों के साथ affair हो चुका है. और some movie story, मेरी wife तो paralytic है और bed पे है and I'm taking care. Some movie I had seen, I don't know which. Yeah ना? Yeah, some movie. संजीव कुमार, पति पत्नी और वो. So see, सब उनको टिप्स मूवी से ही मिल रहे हैं, I'm telling you.
But
So,
you know what, Neha? In my life, I've seen more fools than cunning people. What I'm saying is, are there so many cunning people that every relationship has to be like done with so much caution?
So, are there so many cunning people? In terms of you're talking about prevalence rate of people who do this.
This is a strategy, that is a strategy. How about a person genuinely progressing in the relationship without any strategy?
Most of the people should do that.
But how to argue? We don't know whether they are doing it like genuinely out of their heart or maybe this is a plan.
So, ma'am, if something is, that's what I've been trying to say. If something is highly intense, if something feels that it is going too fast, if you feel out of control.
But see, 1 minute, who decides the speed of the relationship?
Ma'am, we do.
Now for one person the speed may be fast, another person's speed may be slow. This person is more hungry for relationship. This person is less hungry. Now how do we know which is a problem?
See, if you're talking about, okay, please, can I just answer the question?
I hope I'm not asking weird questions.
No. So, Again, if you're saying how do I identify a person कि ये genuinely कर रहा है कि ये genuine नहीं है, एक तो ये बताऊँ कि if a person is married, if we are talking about that, it is the basic information that should be given to a person who is dating. If the person is married and he's not said that I'm married, अगर business है, he's saying, see, lying is one of the things that they will do. Okay, if they are lying, okay, by commission, by omission, there are two different types of lies. But whether if they are lying, then it's a red flag. It is a red flag. Now, if I'm sharing something important in my life, okay, I'm not saying that relationship में we don't share, but आज खुद का ही example ले लो तुम. We talk about this in counseling class a lot. खुद का example ले लो. Something really traumatic has happened to you. Are you going to share this with like a person that you've met for the third time or for the fourth time? No. If there is a person who's coming and sharing with something that is traumatic with you, second time that the person has met, something is off.
Means you mean to say it will take time to open.
It should. Shouldn't it?
1 minute. How about this victim who's really underwent some trauma and all that, feels that I really need someone in my life, and in the second meeting the person feels this is the one I need, and then
If the person feels that I need something in my life. So, now I'm not saying all of this is toxic, but if you want to get into a relationship who has this need to be in a relationship, it's already a problem. It's already a problem.
this one may try.
Go to a therapist, pay some money. No, once again, guys, there are two. If I take this, let's take this, let's scrutinize this a little. So, if there is a person who has had an issue and wants to share on the second date or third date, it will feel a little off to you also. This, if it is the only thing that is happening in isolation, may not necessarily be toxic. But if this person has shared this because they feel that they need the relationship, you still need to be a little careful. You are not getting into a relationship to be a therapist to somebody. Yeah? So therapy अपनी जगह पे पैसा लेने का, therapy देने का, relationship therapy के लिए नहीं होता है. Right? So if you get into a relationship with somebody because they need you, that in itself is a very scary concept. Okay? So that may not be a toxic relationship like what I'm saying here, but it is still something that you need to be aware of. You want to be in a relationship with mutual exchange. Equal है दोनों जन. कोई एक ज़्यादा needy है, दूसरा कम needy है, ऐसा नहीं. It should be equal. And relationship अपने आप में क्या है वो हम लोग बाद में अलग एक talk रखेंगे. But my TY students kind of know what my idea is. But it shouldn't be based on needs. If there is somebody who's very, very needy in that sense, then it's already a very scary place to be in. It's already.
Perfectly understood.
So they will get into this creating pity. Scapegoating is another thing. If there is a person that you meet who is not responsible for anything bad that is happening in their life, that person is a red flag. यानी कि अगर कुछ मेरे साथ कुछ गलत हो रहा है, if I feel something bad is happening, how am I responsible for this? So if there is somebody who's like, अरे मेरा जॉब चला गया मगर मेरा बॉस खराब था, मेरी गर्लफ्रेंड छोड़ के चली गई मगर वो खराब थी, मेरे मॉम डैड के साथ मेरा नहीं जमता मगर वो ऐसे है, मेरे चाचा ने मेरे को थप्पड़ मारा मगर वो ऐसे है. So if everybody else is to blame without taking responsibility for themselves, that is a red flag. Generally we do blame, ऐसा नहीं है कि हम लोग blame नहीं करते हैं, but we are also aware that what is the role that we play in this whole thing. So if a person is not willing to see the role that they are playing in their life circumstances, it's a red flag. We'll go to the next. Yeah, so this is just a summary of, एक मिनट वापस ऊपर जाओ. This is again a summary of love bombing phase, this can be very intense and it could feel amazing. You feel on the top of the world, you are in a great mood. You'll probably look better because you're taking care of yourself better, and like everything is amazing and wearing rose tinted glasses and fun place to be in. Unfortunately, starts the second phase, which is the devaluation phase. Now here it starts slowly. Although I am saying it as pehla phase 1, फिर phase 2, फिर phase 3, मगर generally how it is with all phenomena in psychology, it's not like ऐसा इधर खत्म होके इधर start हुआ. It generally overlaps. It generally overlaps. So say for example, the person said, like I'm committing and this and that, and you say no, मगर अभी मेरे को time चाहिए, and then what? You feel so, you are hurt and you make them feel guilty. ऐसा कैसे बोल सकते हो तुम? मैंने इतना इन्वेस्ट किया है तुम्हारे साथ रिलेशनशिप में. Now you're saying you want to think. 3 दिन ही हुए मिलके. You're saying you want to think. ऐसे कैसे? So you start feeling, wait. What do you start feeling? मैंने कुछ गलत किया क्या? Where have I gone wrong? This is the first seed that goes into your head. Okay, the first time you start thinking, where have I gone wrong? मैंने क्या गलत किया? Oh God, what did I do wrong? You start feeling guilty. You start feeling ashamed. You feeling of shame and guilt are two powerful weapons that they use. Okay, so then you start feeling guilty. You start feeling ashamed about what you did, and you start thinking, मैंने क्या किया यार? I'm just like, how can I now change? I didn't want to hurt the person. मैंने तो सिर्फ बोला मुझे 2 दिन सोचने के लिए चाहिए. I didn't want to hurt the person. Okay? So they will get upset with the boundaries that you show. So for example, चलो आज शाम को मिलते हैं. Like नहीं, but I want to meet my friend. What? Meet friend? मगर मैंने तो आधा दिन छुट्टी लिया. This, that. How can you do this to me? Now they get very upset if you start drawing boundaries. Okay, so they want to, make sure that your boundaries are not there. So that is one thing. Punishment. अच्छा ठीक है, friend के साथ जाना है तो जा. And then 2 दिन, no talk, no message. This is a very, very powerful strategy. Intermittent reinforcement, which is also called as trauma bonding. Okay, what is trauma bonding? You make a person bond with you by creating trauma. How do you create trauma? You are saying hi, hello every day, and then for 5 days you have no clue where the person went. Phone switch off आ रहा है, engage आ रहा है, and here you are sitting and wondering हुआ क्या? Okay, and then after 5 days the person suddenly reappears in your life and like, अरे वो मेरा फ़ोन खराब हो गया था, अरे मैं हाइक पे चला गया था, and this happened, and अरे this happened or whatever. And you're like, okay, चलो, okay, कोई बात नहीं, वापस आ गए. Or if it is a punishment, yeah, that's exactly how it is. If it is a punishment, like you went for you party with your friends, so 2 दिन there is no message, 3rd day, नहीं वो मैं busy था and all that, and but you in your head know that you had gone out with your friends and that's when this happened. So now next time you will be a little more careful. In the sense like, I will not, I want to spend time with friends, but he gets or she gets upset. So I'll spend time, but I will not tell him. When you have to start hiding things, or start hiding and doing things that you enjoy, it's a red flag. Okay, so ghosting, intermittent reinforcement and trauma bonding. Ghosting अगर हो रहा है, if the person is not replying to your messages, okay, it is a red flag. Okay, now again, इधर मेरे को पूछना नहीं, मगर 2 घंटा नहीं दिया. I didn't mean it that way. Okay, देख के टिक ब्लू टिक हो गया, 2 घंटा मैसेज नहीं दिया, trauma bonding. ऐसा भी नहीं है. You don't directly jump into that level. Okay, but what I mean by ghosting is really the person is like not reachable for like 2 days, 3 days, and you start genuinely wondering what has happened. This creates a lot of restlessness in you. Yeah, अच्छा क्या हुआ? This, remember, is, guys, I'm starting again. This, remember, is a phase, devaluation phase, okay? यानी कि अभी love bombing जितना होना तो हो गया, पता चल गया मछली फंस गई. अभी devaluation phase start होता है. Deflection. So when you say something, suppose a person has done something that has hurt you, okay? Said ke I will meet you for your birthday and completely forgets or something, and you are like, next day you ask what happened, you didn't come, you had said you will meet me, and I'm really upset, and the person says something like, you crazy, इसमें कौन सी बड़ी बात है, मैं थोड़ा काम में busy हो गया था. So like, but I was very hurt. Why are you overreacting? When that why are you overreacting comes, some sentences that you have to be very careful. You are overreacting. Anybody in your place would not be feeling this way. Don't you think you are going a little crazy with this? Okay, so sentences like this, okay, where they are devaluing, minimizing, or they are invalidating your feelings. Is there? Yes, you. Okay, so deflection is like that. You see, what will happen is you're not saying anything, and then one day you just like burst. And then like, are you mad? तुम इतना गुस्सा हो रहे हो? You are overreacting. This, that. The thing is, you start overreacting because of the situations and circumstances created here. Remember, you can't say anything because they will get upset. Then punishment, silent treatment. कितना time तक चलेगा? एक दिन तुम बोलोगे, then like, why are you overreacting? You have some issues with anger, and then you start thinking, yeah, यार, पहले तो मैं ऐसा outburst मेरे को होता नहीं था. अभी सच्ची outburst होने लगा है. What is wrong with me? Okay, that is one of the techniques used. Triangulation में थोड़ा बाद में बताती हूँ. पहले indirect insults. Indirect insults are they're not like direct insults, but they say something which is like insinuating that it is not a very good. So, for example, offering advice, okay, in the guise of helping you. कि मैं तेरे अच्छे के लिए बोल रहा हूँ कि थोड़ा अच्छा ड्रेस किया कर, यानी मैं तो तेरे लिए बोल रहा हूँ, like थोड़ा like थोड़ा ये organize रखोगे तो आपके लिए अच्छा है. Like, now what are they saying? I think like this part of your life really needs to work, or you need to maybe शायद if you lose a little weight, maybe this dress will look good on you or something. So it doesn't seem like insult, it seems like advice, but you feel bad, okay, about it. This is an indirect insult. Triangulation is a whole different concept, and this, if you have been in toxic relationship, I think I will see some recognizing nods from you. Triangulation is bringing a third person in the relationship. And what do I mean by third person? It's not like they are having full-on affair, which they will, by the way, at some time. They will, because this is how the cycle goes. But triangulation is like, Arey, I just met this person in my office. Like, he's so nice, Not ऐसे नहीं, मतलब तुम्हारे जैसा नहीं, एकदम ऐसा ambitious and all that. Now I am, but it's okay, जाने दो. And then you start talking to that person. एक hint मैंने pass किया. I met somebody, or that person, बाकी सब तरह से तुम्हारे जैसा, मगर ambition wise he's better than you, and you are like, what just happened? Okay, so triangulation is you bring in some other person in the relationship to maintain control, because what will happen? अरे वो that I met them, and they were talking such nice things to me, like they were like, तुम तो ऐसे हो. And then they just, like मेरी बड़ी तारीफ कर रहे थे, and I also like it कितना ambitious है, like मेरे को भी बड़ा respect है उनके लिए. And then you talk about this and you let it go. What happens?
You just start to change yourself like that.
You?
Change yourself like that, because even you want to be validated.
Probably you want to be like that. What else? You get insecure. Then you feel insecure. The whole point of this strategy is to keep you on edge. You can't be too relaxed in the relationship. Seriously, I'm not kidding. You can't be like too relaxed. They will be like, they'll keep you on edge by, I met such amazing, like I to work with models, तो मेरे को तो photo खींचते हुए कितने लोग line मारते हैं, मैं ध्यान नहीं देता. Now this is a sign of, this is a strategy for creating insecurity. What it tells you is, at a very subtle level, you have to keep working for this relationship. You cannot relax. You cannot relax. Is this making sense? So this is triangulation. Indirect insult, deflection हो गया. Yep. Insinuating compliments. This is another thing. ऐसा लगेगा कि compliment दिया है, मगर and दिखेगा compliment दिया है, but at the end of that compliment you feel, wait a minute, what did this person just tell me? Like, you know, I just love how naive you are and I have to explain everything to you. Now it sounds like compliment, but basically what is this person telling you? You're stupid. Basically the person is telling you you're stupid. Right? So, but it comes across as compliment diya hai, you should be feeling good, but something inside, and then you say, why did you say that? अरे मैं तो compliment दे रहा था. If you don't want me to give you compliments, ठीक है, I will not give you compliments. Next time I won't give you compliment. And you're like, oh my god. You are like really stumped because you're like, compliment दिया which made me feel bad. मैंने बोला मुझे bad feel हुआ, and now this person is like, ठीक है अभी मैं compliment नहीं दूंगा, मेरे को future में भी अभी नहीं मिलेंगे. You're seeing the kind of thing that is getting created here. They can make you feel guilty when you don't want to do things, but they want you to do it. And here I want to tell you one very important thing. They slowly test your boundaries. Okay? The testing of boundaries happen very slowly. So they will at first time, they will tell you to do something that you feel it's not so good or not so right, but इतना बड़ा चीज नहीं है, छोटा सा चीज है, so you do it. You remember Milgram's obedience experiment? All of you are from psychology background, some of them are not, but basically what it means is you start with small commands. And जब तुम उसको हाँ बोलते हो, then it's very difficult for you to go say no to the extreme things. So they start with very small things. Okay? And this is true for everything, making you do things that you don't want to. It can start with something as simple as going out for dinner, अरे आज I didn't get wallet, can you pay? And you're like, ठीक है, एक छोटा सा चीज है, you say yes, and it can go to, I want to start my business, can you invest money for me? But it starts slowly. They slowly start testing your boundaries because they know, okay, एकदम से पैसा मांगूंगी business के लिए, तो वो लोग तो ना ही बोलने वाले हैं. So they start slowly, and then when you say no, they start making you feel guilty. मैंने क्या मांगा था, ये पैसा थोड़ा आज के लिए तो मांगा था, मैं तेरे को कल जीपे कर देता था, कौन सी बड़ी बात है? Okay, so it goes like that. So they start making you feel guilty. There are statements that are said like, if you really loved me, you would dash. ये थोड़ा dangerous है statement. You know, if you really loved me, you would kill yourself, kill somebody else, give me money. I don't know, whatever the you want to fill up in the blank statement. If you really loved me, you would sleep with me. Great. I'm saying that this is how it starts. It starts with small till you understand it. Slowly, ऐसे थोड़ा धीरे-धीरे boundary हटा के, then they come into your space. Feeling shame and humiliation. They can make you feel ashamed or humiliated. They can compare you to others. It can be something like a naive comparison. I met this person just like you. Same तेरे जैसा है, same बाल, same dress and all. But what happens when you say that there is a person that is exactly like you? Huh?
You're not special.
Individuality नहीं है. That means I'm not special. And of course he wants to go to that other person, he can. But also, I'm not special. That can make you feel ashamed, it can make you feel humiliated. So comparing yourself, उसको देख, उसके हिसाब से आई समटाइम्स फील यू शुड लुक एट दिस पर्सन एंड सी कितना ड्रेसिंग उसका अच्छा है या उसके बाल वैसे होना चाहिए वैसा होना चाहिए, समथिंग लाइक दैट. We go to the next slide. Oh yeah, gaslighting. Have you heard the word gaslighting? Crazy making or gaslighting. Gaslighting also starts very slowly. So they call you to meet you at 10 o'clock. They come at 10:30 and like, अरे 10:30 हो गया, आधा घंटा 10 बजे बोला. मैंने कब 10 बजे बोला था? मैंने तो 10:30 बजे बोला था. नहीं नहीं 10 बजे बोला था. अरे तेरे से कुछ मिस्टेक हो रहा है, मैंने 10:30 बजे बोला था, मुझे पता है मैंने 10:30 बजे बोला था. देन यू थिंक ठीक है आधा घंटा क्या फर्क पड़ा, अच्छा ठीक है बोला होगा आधा घंटा मतलब 10:30 बजे, आई डोंट नो. इट स्टार्ट्स विद दैट एंड देन इट कैन बी complete denial of everything that they have said. So it can be like मैंने तो ऐसा बोला ही नहीं था, like तुमने ही तो बोला था जॉब ले लो, मैंने जॉब ले लिया, now you're doing this, तो मैंने तो बोला ही नहीं था. They completely can go back on your words and then what happens when they start doing that, you start questioning your reality. So this whole gaslighting term is taken from a movie.
Yeah.
It's taken from a movie called Gaslighting, where the whole the premise of the movie is there is this rich woman who's married to a man and this woman अगर वो मर जाती है तो उसका सारा पैसा ट्रस्ट को जाता है, बट वो पागल हो जाती है तो पैसा केयर टेकर वगैरह को चला जाता है. So the whole point that the husband was trying to do was trying to make her crazy. So he would like switch off the lights and then like अरे मैंने लाइट चालू किया था, तो कभी किया था, लाइट तो चालू हुआ ही नहीं है. Have some voices playing on the background like can you hear, तो कि कौन सा voice, अभी तो कुछ voice आ ही नहीं रहा है. So she slowly and slowly, it starts slowly, you must watch that movie, it's a black and white old movie, but if you watch that movie it starts slowly and she actually starts questioning her sanity. She's like and one important part of gaslighting is they isolate you from your friends and family. So remember earlier when you say I want to go and meet with my friends and they're like they start punishing you. You're meeting friends, मैं enough नहीं हूँ. I'm like अरे ये अलग है, friends अलग है, right? But they have gotten you into this mode of not contacting your friends or your family, because what happens is generally if you are in a toxic relationship and the guy comes and meets your friend will say पागल है कि छोड़ दे उसको. Right? So they are very aware. They are very aware that if they meet the friends and family, कि ये person जाके वो friends और family के साथ मिलेगा, तो वो लोग उसको sense डालने की कोशिश करेंगे. She will start again trusting herself. The whole strategy or the whole purpose here is to make the person stop trusting themselves. एक innate trust रहता है अपने को अपने आप पर, वो trust जाना चाहिए. You stop trusting your feelings. So if you start feeling sad, you're thinking, if you think कि I'm feeling sad, मेरे जगह कोई और होता तो sad feel होता था क्या नहीं, you are being gaslighted. If you start feeling कि is it okay for me to feel angry in this situation, you do not need to justify your feelings to anybody. Feelings है वो है, right? So you do not question it. अगर But what happens with gaslighting is you start questioning your own feelings, you start questioning your own reality and your own thoughts. If you feel like you're having the same fight over and over and over again, it is a sign of toxic relationship. So what will happen is when you're in a toxic relationship, it's like fight हुआ and then again वापस से थोड़ी देर बाद वापस वही fight हो रहा है, 3 महीने बाद वापस you actually feel in your head यार मुझे record करके रखना चाहिए, so the next time fight happens मैं फिर play कर दूँगी. If that is happening again, it's a sign of toxic relationship. Minimizing, यानी कि if you feel sad or upset, the person says what's a big deal, इतना बड़ा सोचने का क्या जरूरत है इसमें कुछ, it's not such a big thing. So your experiences are minimized. They say that you're exaggerating, you're like blowing it out of proportion. Next slide. Yeah. Stonewalling or silent treatment is a very powerful thing used by them to make sure that you do what they are asking you to do. So if you do something that they don't like, they just stop they just stop giving you any kind of reinforcement, they will stop talking to you. Lying, either by commission or omission, they forget to mention that they are married. Okay? So then, it is still lying. दिमाग से निकल गया, वो मुझे पता ही नहीं था कि मेरे दिमाग से निकल गया कि मुझे बताना था कि I'm married. Okay? Also, invalidation of your feelings is rejection, diminishing or judging. Also, making fun of your feelings. Oh, you're feeling sad on this. Judging your feelings. All of these things are also signs of a toxic relationship. This all will happen in a devaluation phase. Besides that, getting angry if you don't behave the way they want to, asking for your passwords. ओके तुम्हारा फ़ोन का पासवर्ड बताओ, तुम्हारा लैपटॉप का पासवर्ड बताओ, मेरे को फ्रीडम होना चाहिए तुम्हारा ईमेल, तुम्हारा व्हाट्सएप चेक करने का, तुम्हारा बैंक का पासवर्ड बताओ. ओके, ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स, गेटिंग जेलस ऑफ योर फ्रेंड्स, slowly isolating you from friends and family. Yes, Shri. Okay, there is one thing that I'm going to talk about here. There is something called as traumatic one-trial learning. What does traumatic one-trial learning mean? So suppose this person is generally okay and पूरा love bombing phase हो गया, अभी devaluation phase चल रहा है, थोड़ा invalidation, gaslighting, and then one day कुछ तुमने किया and the person has a huge outburst of anger, चिल्ला रहा है तुम पे, plates तोड़ रहा है, ये वो, and you are shocked and you are taken aback. This is called as traumatic one-trial learning. What have you learned with this? इसके सामने थोड़ा संभल के बोलना है. What I say. If you feel fearful in a relationship, it is toxic. Okay? If you feel that you cannot trust this person for your own welfare, it's not a good relationship. Yeah. They can also put you on defensive. They can belittle your ideas. Let's quickly go through it. They can use rationalization, like what I did, they'll do something really bad and they're like, इतनी बड़ी बात नहीं, what I did was not illegal, na, at least. They can, oh, this is another thing. So, at least in the love bombing phase, and maybe even in devaluation phase this can happen, there is one very characteristic thing about people who have these traits. They can stare into your soul. And when they look at you, they are intensely present. This is called a psychopathic stare. It almost looks like this person can see through your soul. Okay? So this, and it feels, so when some stranger is doing it, you feel bad, but when you feel a little yucky. But when somebody that you love is looking at you like that, you feel very special. Because the person feels, it feels like the person is present. Phone nahi dekh raha hai, TV nahi dekh raha hai, book nahi dekh raha hai, completely looking into you and completely present. This is also a sign of a toxic relationship, and they know how to use trance and hypnosis very well. So जो भी suggestions करने हैं कि ये try करो, कि ये करो मेरे लिए, that will generally happen when there is a candlelight dinner happening, there is a slow dance happening. Okay, so they know how to use their voice. Now my students, I've already spoken to you about something called as conversational hypnosis. Conversational hypnosis is something that while I'm talking to you, through the tone of my voice, I can put you in an extremely relaxed state, and I can make you extremely suggestible, and I can give you suggestions like get O grades in the exam. But they are very good with creating these kind of trance states. Okay? And they make disturbing things. So you end up doing things you had never in your life thought I'll do. Okay? Remember, you end up doing things that you never in your life thought you would do, physically, emotionally, financially, sexually. Next slide, please. So please run immediately if you feel scared for your physical safety. Okay? If you feel that they have threatened you, even if that threat was in a joke, हंसी हंसी में, यार मैं तो first chance I'll kill you. Okay? Joke में भी अगर threat मिला है, run. if they are violent with others. Because other people ka violence, when it will shift to you, you don't know. If they are engaged in anything illegal or they are involved with any kind of criminal activity, this is not the kind of person you want to be in relationship with. If they have hit you, pushed you, been aggressive towards you. If you feel scared for your physical safety, you have to run away. एक बार पीछे का side चलो. Honorable mention, married people. Yeah, so do not get involved with married people. I wanted to give you a different paradigm to look at it. If a perspective shift, if a married person is showing interest in you, you should feel insulted. I'm going to repeat it. If a married person is showing interest in you, you should feel insulted. Because what does this guy or this girl think I am? Is this making sense? Yes. So I just want to share, before we move on to the discard phase, I just want to share one case that I had. I was sharing with my colleagues a few days ago in the staff room. There was this one client that I had, जिसका rib cage उसके spouse ने तोड़ दिया. कैसे? वो उसको ऐसा धक्का मारा, फिर उसके पूरे rib cage पे हाथ रख के पूरा weight उसका डाला. So she had a rib cage fracture, because of which she was on bed for almost a year. And when she was, yes, not kidding, and when she would cough or she would speak or even laughing would be painful, because it's every time there is a movement here, it was painful for her. What was the shocking part about this is, when she's talking to me, she's saying, हाँ मगर मैंने ऐसा किया, I deserved it. And I'm like, I'm just thinking, what could you have possibly done to deserve this? Like, even if you went and you had an affair, you slept with somebody else, even then you do not deserve this. But see what happens? Your self-esteem has been slowly chipped away. And because your self-esteem has been slowly chipped away, she actually believed it. She was not just saying it to me. She actually believed it that maybe I deserved it. Like, what could you have done? What can anybody could have done that they would deserve this kind of a treatment, right? But वो सोच नहीं पा रही है ऐसा, because her self-esteem through all these techniques that I just said has been slowly chipped away. We now come to the discard phase. Discard phase is a phase which is now slowly the person is discarding you. Now this person will completely ghost you, no contact, 3 महीना 4 महीना person दिख नहीं रहा है. Decrease jealousy, you can start meeting your friends and family again. Apathy, loss of interest, openly flirting with other people in front of you. अभी तक सिर्फ triangulation हो रहा था. Now openly flirting with other people. Next slide. Deleting you from social media accounts, starting a smear campaign, becoming even more meaner and breaking off without any apparent reason. Now this is a phase which is the most painful for the person who's going through this, who has to face this. Because one, you're like, what happened? Second, मैंने कुछ किया जिसकी वजह से हुआ, but there is no, what do you say? There's no reasoning for me. मैंने ऐसा किया क्या? Okay. Third, you start thinking, what do I do so that I get him or her back? You start your own efforts, like going and meeting the person, and then the person like, ये तो मेरे को stalk कर रहा है, ये मेरे को stalk कर रही है. But you want to increase the effort. There is this whole thing of, there's no closure because you don't know what happened. And suddenly one fine day this person is discarding you. When the discard happens, or just before the discard happens, the person has already started grooming somebody else in the love bombing phase. At any point of time, a person who's from this dark triad will have at least 2 or 3 supplies ready. That means they would be in a relationship with at least 2 to 3 people at the same time, in different phases. Like one person is in a devaluation phase, one person is in a discard phase, one person is in love bombing. Okay, so discard phase is very painful for people because they are not able to understand what happened. It's like some truck hit you and went away and you could not even see what happened. Like truck क्या था, किधर था, कौन सा vehicle था, कुछ समझा ही नहीं. Something just came, hit me and went away. And because this whole thing is so short-lived, this whole one cycle can stop in or can be as short as like 3 months. And it can also be as long as years because the next phase after that is hovering. So people who have been in toxic relationships and jahan pe discard ho chuka hai, if you feel this is the end, this is not. They will contact you again. And I can bet my life on this. They will contact you again. They will hover. So how do they hover? So now here you are, like you spent like next 6 months trying to get over this whole thing, went to a therapist, did this, did that, journaling kiya, I will do this, I will do that. And one day you'll get an email and you're all
Bashing it.
It just all goes away.
all the work that you've done goes away. You feel suddenly taken aback. Wait, ye kya hua? And this hovering will happen. This hovering can happen in form of a short message. Okay, like an email. Hi, how are you doing? Or it could be something as, I went to that place yesterday and I was thinking of you. And I'm like, what? What just happened here?
They will take the blame.
Yeah. I'm coming to it. So they start slowly. It can start with hi. I saw you on your WhatsApp or whatever that Instagram and you were looking nice. I just wanted to say you're looking nice. Or all of a sudden, अभी तक तुम deleted थे उनके social media से, all of a sudden they added you back in and they will like your picture. I'm like, what just happened? Like ये कब हुआ? Okay, so again it takes you back. Other way of doing this, so suddenly they will, they will make themselves much more visible on social media. They will meet you accidentally. They can suddenly send you gifts. All of a sudden, एक साल में कुछ बात नहीं किया, suddenly birthday के दिन gift आ गए उसके through, उसने भेजा. So you're wondering what is happening. And or they might use techniques like, मेरा वो pen नहीं मिल रहा है. Do you have that pen with you? Like, did I leave my pen at your place by any chance? Did I leave my t-shirt or something? Did I leave यानी कि कुछ I'm not मेरा एक कुछ सामान तेरे पास रह गया है. Old people यानी कि हम लोग को reference समझेगा, लोगों को समझा नहीं था समझा. Like people didn't understand. मैं बोली ठीक है चलेगा. Just understand हम लोग कौन से frame से आ रहे हैं. They can also seek help from your friends and family. So they will go to your friends first and say, I'm feeling so bad, I'm feeling so much of remorse. Please tell her to give me a chance. Please tell him to give me a chance. These are called flying. There are also other people. उसके friends होंगे वो आके तुमको बोलेंगे इतना बदल गया है मैं क्या बताऊं इतना 360 चेंज उसने ना तेरे से अलग होके उसको पता चला हाँ प्यार का क्या अहमियत है. So the friends, those people's friends will come and talk to you. They are technical term if you want to know and if you want to Google and find out in Wikipedia, they are called flying monkeys. It's an actual term. They will probably contact you when it is most important. Like, they come to know that you've just lost somebody that you love or, कोई हादसा हुआ है, and then that is the time they will come and show up. Which is again is a part of hovering. The most dangerous part of hovering is they will either threaten to harm themselves or they will harm themselves in a way which is not very lethal. 2 नींद की गोलियां खाएंगे और बोले नींद की गोलियां खा ली है या हाथ काटेंगे मगर इधर से ऐसे strategic place से. So they will either threaten about self-harm or they will have self-harm, but they will never self-harm in a way that is actually harmful. or even if they do it in a way that they make sure that help is available. Yani they might cut properly, but they will do it in front of like doctors or friends, ताकि they know कि कोई तो है जो तुरंत लेके जाएगा कहीं. But बॉम्बे का ट्रैफिक आजकल मैं बोलूँ, बस हॉस्पिटल के सामने कट करे, it's not a good idea. Okay. And depending on how you are reacting to this, if the person जो सामने वाला person है वो थोड़ा soft हो जाता है and they can read, even if you don't say it verbally, but even if your facial expressions or some way of body language shows that you've become softened a little, the love bombing phase will start again, and the cycle continues. And with this, I end my talk and I'm waiting for the questions. And also, can we switch off the AC? Maybe we can start with yeah. Oh, there are lots. Yeah.
So now it's a circle. Then when do you actually end up in refrigerator? I mean, when do you get killed?
See, generally the discard phase will happen. So if you're asking me, I don't know what has happened with the Shraddha case. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't read, I've read, but only as much which is there in newspaper. I don't know actual relationship कैसे होता है. But I have a feeling, मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि at least एक दो discard हो चुके थे. They had actually started dating other people. So यानी कि discard phase हो गया, फिर वापस से hoovering हुआ, फिर love bombing. Okay, so the point I'm trying to make is ये cycle से बाहर निकलने का तरीका है कि you get help. I'll tell you why. If somebody here is saying that if I've been through a toxic relationship and I don't need help and I can do it on my own, I will disagree. The reason because I'm saying this because being in a toxic relationship is like getting addicted to drugs. You know it's bad for you and you know it's not helping you, but you can't help it. You will still want to go ahead and get that drugs. And you need an external intervention to get out of it. So people who have been in toxic relationships, they will say that it feels like an addiction. Like I know it's bad for me, but I can't get over it. I feel I'm obsessed. I think about it obsessively. But this whole situation has been created slowly. Yes.
She asked you when you will end up in refrigerators. So she asked you will end up in refrigerator. I guess.
It's okay, बोलना.
So when the phase ऐसा move होता रहता है 2 बार 3 बार 4 बार तो in the disregard phase जब इंसान discard phase when the person tell कि नहीं I don't want to be again in this relationship, that time the person who is doing this they tell कि you have to be in this relationship. Force. They start forcing you. You will get the things will not happen right if you are not in relationship with me.
Yeah. So that kind of a threat, again, if there is a threat like that, it is a threat. If somebody is threatening, तो भागने का ही भागने का. That was one of the slides में मेरे को वो bold में करना चाहिए था. कि when do you run opposite side? Anybody is threatened you. Physical safety, yours or your loved ones. You can't be in that relationship. Even if that threat was a joke. Okay, so if somebody has threatened you, you can't wait for him to fulfill the threat and then I will take a call. But that is what happens. And not just that, एक बार fulfill हो गया threat, एक थप्पड़ मार लिया उसके बाद then there again love bombing phase starts. Then you forgive because you're not judgmental. you're accepting. मैंने बोला है ना unconditional acceptance and non-judgmental. Every time I teach you unconditional acceptance and non-judgmental, being a non-judgmental person, I said this does not mean you allow people to step on your boundaries. Yes.
So my question is triangulation.
Mm.
We talked about that. So say now you notice that, okay, so hypothetically. So how do you deal with it? How do you respond?
See, if triangulation is happening in a relationship, if you're asking me, can triangulation happen in absence of other things?
No.
If other things are also there, like love bombing, reevaluation, insult, indirect insults, compliments.
Like a few things. Like how do you deal with it?
Why do you want to deal with it? Get out. See, the thing is, I know that all relationships will require work. All relationships require effort on both parts. But that should never mean trampling on each other's boundaries. I was very surprised when in the class I was talking about respect, and there was this idea that अगर दोनों respect, self-respecting होंगे तो फिर relation कैसे चलेगा? This is a myth कि two self-respecting people can't be in a relationship. In fact, two self-respecting people in a relationship will have a beautiful relationship. Like, तू हरिहरन देखने जा, मैं बादशाह देखने जाती हूँ. Like, why should anyone compromise? ठीक है ना, तू तेरा मजा कर, मैं मेरा करती हूँ, और जो हम दोनों को अच्छा लगता है वो दोनों साथ में करेंगे. It's like that. Why can't two self-respecting people stay together?
Ma'am,
I can hear. Go on.
I have a question. Why do they keep doing this to the person? Why do they keep abusing the person? Why do they keep putting them through the cycle?
So,
What do they get out of it?
What do they get out of it? So, the dark triad personality that I was talking about, there are certain traits and characteristics that they have. Like I said, वो बताने के लिए मुझे और एक घंटे का एक अलग lecture लेना पड़ेगा, जो अपने पास अभी time नहीं है फिलहाल. But I will give you the resources. I have forgot to put that slide, but I will give you the resources. You can read up on your own. But for people who are from the dark triad, narcissists, Machiavellism, psychopathy, they need energy, or they need some kind of investment from other people. Okay, so for them, other people are nothing but supply. This is a technical term, narcissistic supply. That means you are nothing but a means of gratification for them. That gratification can be in terms of, again, physical, sexual, financial, emotional gratification. It's about taking and giving nothing. Okay? जो starting का love bombing phase में भी जो लोग देते हैं, it's mostly pretense. It's not a real giving, not a real investment. Okay. हाँ, वहाँ पे mic है. Ma'am, can I sit like my knees are hitting now? Yeah.
Ma'am, for someone who has like trust issues, and like ma'am said कि genuinely कर रहा है या नहीं कर रहा है, तो कैसे समझ में आता है? Because for you it's like everything is fake.
If I want to help somebody and my mind is clear, I'm just helping in a true sense. But if I go through कि मुझे ये चीज़ें पता है, if he try to कि भाई ये बंदी is trying to take over me, but my mentality or my thinking is not that.
नहीं, मुझे question नहीं समझा. There are two different questions here. Her question I understood. I will take your question also. Her question is if you yourself have trust issues. So if you yourself have trust issues, तो ऐसा तो नहीं कि बेचारा normal इंसान है और तुम उसके अंदर ये read कर रहे हो. So see, if you have trust issues, whether you have a relationship with a person who's toxic or whether it's a normal relationship, it will create issues. So if you identify that तुम्हारे अंदर trust issues है, then you will need to deal with it if you want to have a fulfilling relationship in your life. If that is not a goal, chhad, kya farak padta hai? But if you want a fulfilling relationship in your life, trust होना चाहिए. Now ऐसा भी नहीं है कि blind trust, जो पहला मिला उसको trust.
No, but the thing is, if it's being repetitive, and then you're scared कि अभी trust
Repetitive with the same person, different people.
different people.
If it is repetitive with different people, it is your pattern. If it is repetitive, so sorry, I might say things now that because you're asking me, I will answer. You might not like it, but if it is repetitive and it's with different people, it is your pattern.
So like, am I going wrong or am I choosing the wrong people?
You are going wrong.
But like,
But what about the same person?
So now, if see, first and foremost, identifying how you are attracting wrong kind of people. Okay, how you are allowing those kind of people to come. Abhi, there was one person who did not attend this talk, but I'm okay with that person not attending talk because ये उसके साथ होगा ही नहीं. उसका personality ऐसा है कि कोई नाटक करेगा तो ये निकल इधर से. Okay, so if something is happening to you, again, like I said, even the toxic relationships that happen, there is a profile of victim. It is not this. ये प्रीति मैम के साथ क्यों नहीं हुआ? She was very clear. ये बंदे ने 3 बार ट्राई किया. प्रीति मैम के साथ नहीं हुआ because she was very clear कि पागल है क्या ये? See, the first time when this happens to you, you are also in your head thinking पागल है क्या ये? But then second time you stop listening to that voice. Okay? So now if it has happened to you with couple of different people, you have to identify what in you, what behavior in you is attracting that.
If with the same person?
If it is with the same person, तो toxic है. तो तुमको निकलना ही है. See, I'll take Vijay Lakshmi's question first. I know there are 2 questions there, but I will take her question first. एक बार वापस बता.
I need to say what I said. Okay, कि अगर सामने वाला बंदा है, okay, and the person is friend or something like that. So I just want to make a move. Okay, friendship से I want to go to a relationship. Friend में बोल रही कि मुझे रखना है. You also try. You are also in that zone. ठीक है, my mentality is pure with him. So सामने वाला बहुत thoughts will take in a good way or a bad way.
If you're doing it slowly and after a couple of some time हो गया उसके बाद, then it is the person उसके हाथ में है. If he is interested, he should take it forward. If he is not, he should not. One way in which toxic relationship work also is this. Person will keep you in confusion. लटका के रखेगा. यानी कि वो ये भी नहीं बोलेगा कि मुझे कमिटमेंट करना है और ये भी नहीं बोलेगा कि मुझे कमिटमेंट नहीं करना है. या वो रिलेशनशिप में है मगर वो पहले से बोल रहा है मैं रिलेशनशिप में तो जा रहा हूँ मगर मैं शादी तेरे से नहीं करेगा क्योंकि मम्मी डैडी ना बोलेंगे या मम्मी पापा. एंड देन यू इन योर हेड थिंक कि अभी ना बोल रहा है ऐसे 3 महीने में मेरे से इतना प्यार करेगा पागलों जैसे. एंड देन आफ्टर 4 months यू से where is this relationship going? I want to get married. And he said, मैंने तो पहले ही बोला था. Right? Now, creating confusion and vagueness is a sign of toxic relationship. If the person says, no, I want to be your friend only, but then flirts with you and sends you sexual signs, okay, or talks as if you are much more than friend, it's a toxic relationship. क्लियर कट बोलो या तो इधर. इंटरेस्टेड नहीं है तो बोल दे इंटरेस्टेड नहीं है. मैं जबरदस्ती भगा के तेरे को शादी नहीं करेगा. But be clear. Putting you in a vague place is a sign of toxic relationship. They want to keep you. They want to give you just enough for you to hold on. And they are not withdrawing completely, but at the same time they are not committing also. You deserve better than this. We all deserve better than this. Okay, I'm not saying that the person that you fall in love with also should fall in love with you. ऐसा ज़रूरी नहीं है. मगर अगर वो he is not in love with you, we should be clear कि I'm not in love with you. And his behavior should be clear. One of the other things that happen in toxic relationship is action and words don't match. It is like you are my queen and I love you and all that, मगर मिलने का time नहीं है. Sunday एक ही दिन छुट्टी मिलता है. I don't want to meet you. Or it's the other way around. Like we just want to be friends, but then very casually एक किस इधर हो जाएगा, एक ये उधर जाएगा, थोड़ा एक flirtatious message आ जाएगा. आज तो ऐसे जुल्म था ये, ऐसे तैयार हो गया. And you in your head are wondering what the hell is happening. If with any relationship, if you are in your head wondering what the hell is happening, it is a toxic relationship.
Can ever it be happen like after breakup you would be a best friend with that guy?
See,
But that person behave like the आपने बोला.
then you should separate immediately. See, if the person has gone through the discard phase, breakup हो गया है or whatever, and then the person is saying हम लोग best friends, and once again there is a lot of actions which are not insinuating कि friends है, it is insinuating that हम लोग more than friends है. This is creating confusion in your head. Again, this person is giving you just that much to hold on. It is creating a hope in your heart and your head कि ये अभी नहीं तो कभी हो सकता है, कभी नहीं होगा. Again, this also I can write in on stamp paper and give it to you. 10 साल बाद आके मुझे बताना. कुछ चीजें ऐसी है जिसमें मैं बड़ी ऐसे श्योर हूँ. Okay, and this is one thing जो मैं श्योरिटी से बोल सकती हूँ. Why? I can see the pattern. Yes.
Hi, ma'am. So I think, is it fine? Yeah. I think everyone who's been in a toxic relationship knows that like the love bombing phase and the devaluation phase often happen at the same time. That's the middle of the relationship. And
Don't use the mic.
Don't use attachment to your feelings you feel within the relationship.
You sorry?
hi. Okay.
So the two phases happen simultaneously. उतना सुना है?
Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that
What I'm trying to say is that during the love bombing phase and during the evaluation phase, those, I guess, the way they make you feel, how special, how unique, the way they stand by you. Post the relationship, after you break up with them, the discard
It's
phase
up
has happened. You somehow inadvertently set that bar for yourself that no one has loved me as well as they have.
Yeah. So I understand your question. You raise that bar for yourself till the time you realize that this is not true. None of it was true. And if the person with that same intensity is coming and telling you you are the queen and all, in 6 months goes to somebody else and with the same intensity is saying that you're the queen and all, where is the authenticity in this? So, you might miss that phase of love bombing because you feel good. But see, one of the most important things that you can learn from toxic relationship is this. That इतना ज़्यादा अगर कोई बोलता है ना कि मैं प्यार करता हूँ and you feel it is too good to be true, then it is too good to be true. Nobody can love you with so much of intensity. It is not authentic. If you feel that you can love somebody with that much of intensity, you also need help. Yes, you do. If you feel that मैं इतना प्यार कर सकती हूँ कि मैं किसी के लिए मर सकती हूँ, you need help. You need help. So you can miss the love bombing phase. Yeah? But setting the bar high, in fact, it should be the other way around. It should be now like if there is somebody who's saying these things. So I've also seen this in people. Like one of the biggest learning from being in toxic relationship is you understand what is the, what are the boundaries of love. And what do I mean by boundaries of love is my responsibility and my self-love should always come first. And the same thing is true for the other person. Okay? So, if you feel that I can love somebody so intensely that I can really go to any extreme, it's not something to be proud of. You require a lot of work on yourself. Okay, similarly that person जो इतना intensity से बता रहा था, कुछ भी authentic genuine नहीं था. Okay, if you set your bar that high, if after the toxic relationship, if you set that bar so high, that means you have not really learned from it. See, because like you said, devaluation and love bombing happens at the same time. One of the things that victims of narcissist abuse experience is a cognitive dissonance. Now, psychology students here would know what cognitive dissonance is. It means that I am having two opposite ideas at the same time in my head. So here I am badly addicted to this person. वो मेरे को मार रहा है, कर रहा है, मगर I want to be with this person, and I'm like, I'm not able to put my finger on it. I love this person like so much, but I also I'm disgusted by him. Like I know that he's really bad for me, but I'll go ahead and go and do things that I would never have thought I will do. So in fact, if anything, love, this whole toxic relationship should show you कि अगर कोई बंदा मेरे को ऐसा बोलता है ना कि चांद सितारे तोड़ के लाओगी, stay away. That is not real. Because then it's not really a relationship. Then it's something else. Then something else is going on. Yeah.
Wait. Okay.
I have a question. So, can we apply the same things that we learned today to friendships also?
So narcissism that I spoke about, the red flags in relationship, it is not just in a spousal relationship, it is not just in boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. You can have a narcissistic boss. You can have narcissistic parents. You can have narcissistic kids. You can have narcissistic friends. So the reason why I said in relationships in terms of spousal relationship, क्योंकि अभी एरिक्सन के developmental stage के हिसाब से most of the people here are bothered about that. Okay, two things you're bothered about according to Erikson, career and relationships, right? So अभी फिलहाल ये थोड़ा important है तो मैं बोली यही बोलती हूँ. Narcissistic parents के बारे में start करूँगी तो सब वापस से और disturb हो जाएंगे. Let's leave that for some other time.
Okay, so ma'am, question अभी ये कि relationship में ना काम जाम होता है, ठीक है? So relationship में आना चाहिए कि नहीं आना चाहिए? तो ऐसा रहेगा कि ज़्यादा अपने risk पे जा रहा है तो
This is a very good question. So this is a good question. In the sense, like, if listening to all of these things, I know a couple of people must have showed chores on our relationship. So why do we bother? One, we bother because all said and done, we are social beings. Relationships, whether you admit it or you don't admit it, are important to us. And third, this is something that I believe, that you can't go from one extreme to the next. या तो मैं इतना प्यार करेगा कि अपने आप को फना कर देगा, या तो मैं किसी रिलेशनशिप में नहीं रहेगा. You can't go from one extreme to the other. The balanced viewpoint is the point which is most healthy. So, you be in a relationship because relationship we are social beings और हम लोग को relationships is something that we want, we look forward to. Relationship can be a source of growth for us. Okay, we grow as human beings when we are in relationships. It can be very satisfying, very fulfilling also. Yeah, it can create issues, but yeah. But it's so relationships are like, in a way, like life. Life अच्छी होती है, life बुरी होती है, life कभी अच्छी होती है, कभी बुरी होती है. Yeah, it's like that. Yeah.
I'm a little confused about this term called possessive. So they say that possessiveness is very common in relationship. So, and it's quite helpful. Like I have heard it from many other people. So I want to know, is it like, how is it? They say na कि अच्छा this person is mine or something like like that. People say that
Okay, guys. So, when you say possessiveness, it implies that I am a thing that can be possessed. So, if you ask me, possessiveness is a good or bad, do you consider yourself as a thing? Then how is possessiveness good? यार मेरा फ्रेंड थोड़ा मेरा बॉयफ्रेंड मेरे से थोड़ा possessive है. What does that even mean? How can you demean your own individuality and personhood? You are not possessive. वो भी बंदा कोई चीज नहीं है कि you are possessive about him. ना ही आप कोई चीज हो कि they are possessive about you. You are not a thing to be possessed. They are not a thing to be possessed.
So I had something to say. In fact, I wanted to ask, but I think that's what is the end goal of this narcissistic behavior? And you said they seek a lot of gratification in terms of emotions or sexual desires or whatever. Fair enough. But if I am at the receiving end of narcissist behavior, in this entire process that you explained, you are the one who is left emotionally wrecked.
Total.
Total. Because that front person already was strategizing, which you didn't know. Correct. But it was your niceness that you wish to believe that whatever was done was true, or you keep giving them benefits of doubt. Correct. One after the other. And then one sudden day you realize that ab mujhse nahi hoga, because now all your threshold limits are over. And then what would you suggest that the receiving person does? I mean, I think you said you take help. Apart from that?
I really believe that you will require, and again, you can go through the website where the narcissist abuse survivors have written their points of view. Because if you have not taken care of it, you are vulnerable for this person to come back again. He will hover. Some people hover for 10 years. यानी कि हर 2 साल में they will try. हर 5 साल में they will try. So hovering will happen. Also, slowly and steadily in toxic relationship, what has happened is your self-esteem gets chipped away. Your identity gets chipped away. मैं हूँ कौन? What is my whole thing? And what is your self-esteem, your self-worth? Everything gets chipped away. So, without psychological help, this will not happen. If you have been in a relationship where you have been a part of narcissistic abuse, I would strongly recommend that you get at least one session and see where you are. Because I was just telling my students today, time is not your ally. Yeah, I was just telling them today, you feel कि कितना भी बड़ा जख्म हो, time उसको repair कर देता है. Time is not your ally. Time is not. यानी कि there are 50-year-old people who are talking about 14 years का था और मेरे साथ ये हुआ है. And they are still dealing with it. So time is not your ally unless you actively deal with the situation. So I would strongly recommend taking help to understand कि हुआ क्या. Yeah. Time up हो गया. Okay, 2:15 हो गया guys. Last 5 minutes, last 2 questions. उसके बाद तो वैसे भी questions नहीं है. So TY kids और SY kids जिनके मैं आंसर नहीं कर पा रही क्लास में कभी दे दूँगी. हाँ बोलो कौन पूछ रहा है? मनीष पूछ. Guys, we are really running late now. 2:15 हो गया है.
So ma'am, I was asking that all the things that we talked about, the red flags, like we see them in day-to-day basis, right? And like even the flattery, compliments, people feeling upset and even discarding, you can see them like in day-to-day basis. So when do we believe it's how do we believe it's genuine or it's how do you know no this is genuine, or how do you know it's a red flag, because it's very similar
Yeah. So now it is possible that the relationship that you are in is a little toxic, but something that can be worked on. Okay, there are not too many red flags. यानी कि एक चीज़ है, ये चीज़ में there is some toxicity. You take a call. Do you want to work on it or no? See, if there is marriage, if there are kids involved, and not too many red flags, एक का दो है, तो you can take a call and try to deal with it. There are various ways, there are mechanisms in which you can deal with narcissist people in your life. Like spouse ठीक है divorce ले सकते हो, मम्मी पापा अगर narcissist हुए तो क्या करोगे? बच्चे narcissist हुए तो क्या करोगे? So there are ways in which, or your boss narcissist हुआ तो क्या करोगे? So there are ways in which you can deal with narcissist people in your life. But I would strongly recommend, if you are not in a committed relationship, and if you're just in a phase of like dating or girlfriend, boyfriend, drop it. To answer your question, एक आध red flag, दो red flags, if you decide you want to work on it, you can work on it. Generally, these things that happen, they happen together in a pattern. Okay, like for example, if I just have fever, I have fever. Magar if I have fever, then I have cold, then I am coughing, then मेरा lungs इधर थोड़ा ये हो गया है, then I might go for COVID test. It's the whole thing together, right? अगर सिर्फ मेरे को fever है, तो मैं अरे क्या करूँ अभी इसका, ऐसा नहीं होता है. बुखार एक दिन में चला जाएगा, right? So again, it's when you're looking at it, look at the entire pattern. If the entire pattern is there, or at least इतने सारे में से 4-5 या 6-7 चीजें हैं, if you're not in a committed relationship, you deserve better. Frankly, I'm telling you, because you guys are young यहाँ पे, and you are not in committed relationships as of now. And when I say committed, I don't mean हम लोग ने जन्म साथ रहने का वादा किया. I mean शादी, actual legal marriage. So if you're not in committed relationship, you deserve better. And who decides what you deserve? You yourself.
There's a question on your live.
It was live?
Yes. Are they aware of what they're doing while it's happening?
Yes. Yes. So, like I said, I was talking about this as the dark triad. So yeah, they are. Not only are they aware, they are very aware of the strategies they are using, they are very good in picking up the victims also. They identify कि किसको मैं पकड़ूंगा या किसको पकड़ूंगी तो the person will stay with me for longer. People who show diva behavior, like क्या नाटक है ये सब, they will not try again and again.
But eventually, won't they also be tired of this whole effort, because ultimately they are also investing time. Bhale jhoota, bhale for the again fuck of it, but then ultimately they are doing it, right? So won't they be tired eventually?
So is there?
I mean, what pleasure will that, how long will they be able to sustain?
So there is a reason why they are like that, the way they are. Again, like I said, I will have to have a separate lecture on why, like why, what are the traits and why they behave the way they do. But research अभी तक बता रहा है कि people who are narcissist even at the old age. यानी कि ऐसा नहीं है कि उनका personality वो 60 years के हो जाएंगे तो change हो जाएगा. They will figure out other ways to get supplies. Maybe they might not be able to get supplies sexually or through young people, but they will figure out some way to get their supply. But research अभी तक तो ऐसा बता रहा है कि it does not go down with age. So do they get tired as they grow older? Will they find difficult? They will have to adapt. But they do.
Yes. My question.
Xerxes को जाना है बस वो तो
If you get to know about the relationship before only, and you're like, you know about this, the relationship is toxic, and you back out from the relationship, but after a few months, you start regretting the choice because you question maybe it was genuine and it was you who was just trying to think about it again and again. And like even after years, you're bothered by that.
So this can happen when there are things within yourself that you have not taken care of. Like for example, people who have given up alcohol because they were alcoholics and they've given up alcohol. They will have this one day when boss shouted at them and they are in a bad state and they're very tempted to take the glass of alcohol. They might even fill it up. They might not drink it, but they might fill it up. People who have been through narcissistic abuse, they go no contact. No contact is the only way to really cut them off. No contact, matlab no contact. If they say hi, no message, blocking them from all your social media accounts. no response of any sort. So even if people who have gone no contact, they have told me that when they are in a bad phase of their life, they are very tempted to type a hi and send back, which means that there is things in you that needs to be resolved. See, because what will happen, another thing that happens with toxic relationship is the first phase, love bombing, then devaluing, discard, hoover. Second cycle mein the devaluation becomes worse than the first one. Third cycle mein devaluation becomes worse than the second one. Because you're teaching them that I'm okay with this. Even after this I came back. So इस बार वो और extreme होगा. फिर वो hover करेगा, again तुम जाओगे वापस. तुम कब जाते हो वापस? You want to go back the time when you are vulnerable. So now that is something that you need to work on yourself. It's like मेरे को बहुत प्यास लगी है तो जहर पी लेती हूँ. Doesn't make sense.
So ma'am, is it like a trauma bonding?
नहीं, last था ना, आते बाद में. Last. आज एक ठीक बोल. You know what, guys? Maybe because I'm old, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like when we talk about such things, I realize how old I am. What is situationships? You know, wait. Let me read about it and then get back to you. Maybe you guys can tell me. I have no clue what situationship is. Call me old-fashioned or old, either ways. Okay.
So I just want to thank you. I think we are, at least most of us, I feel like having a bit of a crisis right now. I know that I am, but okay. So yeah, I mean, I know you as a teacher and I feel like I find you very wise and I've told you this before. So thank you for taking out the time to talk to us about this. I think whether we want to accept it or not, we kind of needed it. So yeah, so thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Also, one more thing, we'll be passing the attendance sheet, so just wait for 2 minutes and it'll be quick. Yeah.
There's one more. There's one feedback sheet.
ये लो ना करके पास कर